Welcome to Positively Las Vegas, a look at the good things happening around the valley. I'm KALYNA ASTRINOS. For the next 30 minutes, we're going to share the latest stories that showcase the reasons why we love Las Vegas. That means the people, the businesses, and all the activities that make the valley a great place to live. We'll also share fun things to do in Las Vegas each week. Well, a Valley barbecue spot took a shot at relocating during the pandemic, and it's a gamble that's clearly paying off. 13 Action News reporter Austin Carter takes us inside the popular North Las Vegas diner where business is smoking.
Staples are pulled pork and brisket and ribs. I mean, you can't go wrong with those.
Not a lot has changed at Southern Nevada Steakhouse, also known as the S&S Diner.
The number one thing is keeping everything consistent.
Back in January, owner Mike Panawaz made one significant change. He moved. The bigger location on Losee Road in Cheyenne is just around the corner from their old spot. Mike's wife, Holly, makes it clear the same love and passion is put into their menu.
My husband makes all the sauces from scratch. Nothing is processed. And daily, the cornbread is made daily. We smoke 3 or 4 times a day.
Holly says fresh ingredients is what they're all about.
We don't even have a freezer. This used to be an old McDonald's and they had a massive freezer. We converted it into a refrigerator.
It's the freshness and Mike's attention to detail that keeps many of their customers coming back.
The regulars come in, 3 times a week or more, which is great.
Of course, they're following new COVID guidelines and they're limiting the number of guests dining in. But Mike says it doesn't stop him from creating an inviting atmosphere.
People who go to mom and pop restaurants like to see the owner. They like to see, the same faces and the friendly smile and know their name. So it's super important that we keep that feel.
As long as he does that, Mike says he'll be in business for many years to come.
You get that rush and, it's fun and I still enjoy it. So as long as I don't lose that, we'll keep doing what we're doing.
I'm Austin Carter, 13 Action News.
After a year-long closure due to COVID, the Nevada State Museum is reopening. It's located on the Springs Preserve campus, and that's where we find 13 Action News reporter ALICIA PATTILLO. And ALICIA, I hear there's a new exhibit just in time for Women's History Month.
Good morning, KALYNA. There is a new exhibit and I will be giving you a little sneak peek. And as we continue to celebrate women who made differences in history, culture, and society, there's actually some trailblazers right here in Nevada. I'm so excited to learn more. I'm now joined with Sarah Hume of the Nevada State Museum. This is my first time here. I'm so excited.
Oh, I'm so glad you're here. Thank you for coming.
Thank you so much for waking up with Good Morning Las Vegas. So I want to get right to it. We talked a little bit before we got on TV just about the women trailblazers that are here in Nevada. So can you introduce us to one?
To one that we're featuring here today at the museum is Lily Fong. And she was a prolific fundraiser, a huge believer in education for everybody, that it was a great equalizer. And so whilst her archives are at the UNLV, she donated some of her wardrobe to this museum.
Okay.
But as we discovered that, what we found is that she was bold, she was vibrant, that's how her wardrobe, but her wardrobe really portrays her as this wonderful businesswoman, but also someone who was very, very involved in the community.
I love that, and you could see, this is a dress I would wear now.
Absolutely.
It's bold,
Yeah.
And we talked about how Lily Fong was all about unity, right? Can you elaborate on that?
Yes, absolutely. So when she came to Nevada, she did encounter some discrimination when she was trying to secure a role here. But she appealed against that and was successful in that. And she went on to be the first Asian American educator in Nevada.
I love that. So important. Representation for every community is so important. So when we return, we'll have so much more to show you with this new exhibit. And again, we'll talk about how they transition from COVID restrictions to now opening, and what you can expect tomorrow when they officially reopen. KALYNA?
Shade Tree needs your help. The organization right now is planning a socially distanced on-site celebration for Easter, and so it needs donations for kids who live there at the shelter. Those donations can include already assembled Easter baskets, empty plastic eggs, and also individually wrapped candy. But before you drop off your donations, you must make an appointment. So you can call there. The number, it's on your screen right now. There you see it. It's 702 385-0072. Donations are also right now being accepted through March 31st. It's a great organization, does a lot of great work here in the Valley.
Cared for smooth, rough, neglected trails, asphalt and dirt.
City of Las Vegas marking World Poetry Day by unveiling some new art downtown. Some sidewalks on 3rd Street between Hoover and Gass are now engraved with the words of 10 local poets. It's a part of a joint effort between the city and Poetry Promise Incorporated.
The poetry scene here in Las Vegas is really active. It's one of the best kept secrets, I think, of Las Vegas. Not many people who live here are aware.
According to city staff, the 3rd Street Improvement Project began about 3.5 years ago.
Welcome back to Positively Las Vegas. For more details on any of the stories you're watching today, just visit our website, ktnv.com/positivelylv.
A milestone at the MSG Sphere. Work right now underway on the domed roof. You see it right there. Now the dome will be made up of 32 of those pieces there in that structure. Construction of that roof frame is expected to be done at some point this summer. The whole building is going to be finished in 2023.
New this morning, a local program is empowering students to make school a better place for everyone. 13 Action News reporter Kelsey McFarland is live right now in North Las Vegas to explain how Bully Busters 702 is making an impact. Good morning, Kelsey.
KALYNA, good morning. This is a really neat program. Kids come here to the Imagine 100 Academy of Excellence to take a class on anti-bullying. Now, the man who runs the program is encouraging students to speak out and help their fellow students who may be struggling.
We go over how bullying is bad, and when you see bullying, you should go and tell a teacher.
Star and Kwame Banks are siblings and certified bully defenders thanks to their teacher, Big Keith Bowen.
He's my favorite teacher.
Big Keith teaches thousands of kids how to build self-esteem and deal with bullies.
It's been a blessing for me to be here because I went through about 8,000 kids now.
He's dedicated his life to the cause after a friend committed suicide as a result of bullying.
People don't understand when you got bullied, people remember the day, the time, what clothes you had on. You know exactly. I talked to grown folks, 40 and 50 years old. They remember when they was 13 if they was going to the store. So people don't understand it's an impact on you.
Big Keith, we have a situation with name calling in math class.
Students as young as kindergarten create their own cartoons and host a weekly radio show based on their experiences. Big Keith says it helps them build confidence and learn how to talk about their problems in a productive way.
So today's topic is about gossip. People in school have been dealing with this a lot lately.
Station, the kids being able to talk on the radio, they get to express themselves, then they're talking. So they're getting it off their chest. So they don't have to go and push nobody or put their hands or feel sad because somebody's being different. It's not you. I just try to tell you, if somebody's having a bad day, that don't mean you have to have a bad day.
Big Keith also tours schools around the valley to spread his anti-bullying message and runs a 24-hour hotline for parents or students to call for help. Now, that radio show plays every Sunday online, and we'll be posting the links to that site and the hotline number on our website, ktnv.com. Reporting live, I'm Kelsey McFarland, 13 Action News.
Making sure veterans get a proper memorial after serving our country. This morning, we're showing you how people in our community come together to give veterans a service with honor.
I'm assembled here to celebrate and honor the life of our fellow brother veterans.
This memorial service is filled with members of our community and empty seats.
It broke our hearts to lose you. You did not go alone.
A funeral honoring veterans where no family can be found, and some veterans who were homeless.
Patriot Guard Riders, present arms.
Each week, volunteers come together to give these military veterans a proper service. And Navy veteran Peggy Randall is one of those volunteers.
I do it because they've earned the right and the honor.
Peggy joined the Navy in 1955. She says that was a tough time for military women. She also served during Vietnam and remembers the reception soldiers received when the war was over.
When we came home, we were not well received. They didn't want us. They thought we were the bottom of the barrel and we had done wrong, and nobody could convince them we were only the messengers.
One reason she volunteers so heavily is because of her husband.
When he wanted to retire, he wanted to serve in the veteran community. Well, he died before he could retire. And so I promised him I would do what he wanted done.
So on most Thursdays, Peggy shows up to the Southern Nevada Veterans Memorial Cemetery in Boulder City to honor her husband's wish and make sure other veterans are not forgotten.
Because we had the courage to stand up, raise our right hand, and agree to give everything up to and including our lives to defend our country.
Wasn't she great? Peggy will also be part of the events taking place on National Vietnam War Veterans Day. That's happening on Monday, March 29th. And if you have a veteran you'd like us to feature, just email us at veteransvoice@ktnv.com. Welcome back to Positively Las Vegas. For more details on any of the stories you're watching today, just visit our website, ktnv.com/positivelylv.
We've seen women who famously fought for equality, and while we've come a long way for the crusade, like the right to vote, it seems a new fight is brewing.
Gender stereotypes are hindering the 21st century. And as we continue to bridge the divide, 13 Action News reporter ALICIA PATTILLO goes beyond the stigma and shares words for women from women.
The problem with gender is that it prescribes how we should be, rather than recognizing how we are. We teach girls to shrink themselves, to make themselves smaller. We say to girls, you can have ambition, but not too much. You should aim to be successful, but not too successful, otherwise you will threaten the man.
A girl, when she's 3 or 4 years old, at her birthday, is not given a truck. Now, she could be given a truck and she could play with it, but she's given a doll.
I do think women are held to a different standard just because of the general gender roles that have shaped so much of our society and culture historically.
Society tries to put women just kind of on this pedestal that we shouldn't do this or we shouldn't do that. We can't have this, we can't have that. Just the limitations that they put on us as women.
Women have come a long way in the strive for gender equality, yet the fight isn't over.
I would be lying if I said throughout my career I didn't feel that pressure and continually feel like I have to overcome those stigmas.
Sure, women have made leaps and bounds in voting rights to a seat in the Oval Office.
We did it, Joe.
But there's a barrier we can't seem to break, a glass ceiling that seems to separate women from men in the workplace, home, and even lifestyle.
I think all women have at some point in their lives experienced some type of discrimination of some sort.
It seems gender stereotypes and bias toward women have carried over into the 21st century.
You might think that, I'm this big Black woman, that I'm going to be loud, and all of these stereotypes that go along with what society has said when it comes to the big Black woman.
We have a ticking clock.
Being called the angry women, and when we're passionate about what we're doing.
You got married, now you have to have kids.
Always have to be the nicer person. Always have to put the smile on our face no matter how we're feeling.
You're making more money than your other half. So, you must wear the pants in the family. And
women still face outdated taboos or unrealistic goals set by society standards.
It's more than just a pretty face, nice body. It goes beyond.
Oftentimes expected to ignore the realities of their own lives.
As women, the more that you are in the spotlight or the more that you put yourself out there, the more common it is that shows up. It's almost like there's this tendency to look for the things that woman is failing in or not good at, instead of focusing on the things that she's accomplished.
Despite these barriers, women have chosen to take a stand against inequality.
I'm here to just break the limitations.
I would say the older I've gotten, though, I don't address the stigmas. I don't say anything to society. I just be, again, authentically myself.
I call it your problem that you're feeling that way, not my problem.
defining life on their own terms.
So you are capable of integrating career, family, self-care, which is something that I'm working on.
Break the glass ceiling. I'm talking about shattering everything from the stereotypes to, how we show up, how we treat one another.
And while there's still a long way to go, they're seizing every opportunity to fulfill the promise of equality for all.
But while I may be the first woman in this office, I will not be the last.
ALICIA PATTILLO, 13 Action News.
Cure for the Kids Foundation has officially opened up the Robert and Dorothy Kaiser Foundation and Cashman Family Foundation Preventative Healthcare Center. Now it's Nevada's first pediatric physical medicine center. It has a more than 1,400 square foot full service gym with the latest therapy equipment. This will help patients rehabilitate following surgeries and procedures, but also prevent secondary diseases from developing. It's Women's History Month, and we are spotlighting local groups in our community leading the charge and inspiring change. United Way's Women United has committed over more than 7,200 volunteer hours through community events. Now, one of their most popular is the Women United Suit Drive. Every November, they rally the community to donate women's professional wear for local agencies with return to work programs. Now, last year, they collected more than 5,000 professional items.
There's nothing better and more empowering than having a woman going to work or to an interview feeling good about how she looks and presents.
Now, their work doesn't stop there. Next month, they are hosting the 13th annual Women United Signature Event. Virtual event will celebrate the accomplishments of dynamic women leaders in our community and raise funds to provide scholarships for local female students. Welcome back to Positively Las Vegas. For more details on any of the stories you're watching today, just visit our website, ktnv.com/positivelylv. The gender pay gap has grown during the pandemic. Women in Nevada are earning on average about 16% less than men, according to the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics.
And on this Equal Pay Day, 13 Action News anchor TRICIA KEAN shows you why the gap is growing and the efforts to erase it.
We contribute just as much, so it really needs to have that pay equity.
On average, a woman in Nevada makes 84 cents to every dollar a man makes.
Racism and sexism are alive and well in this country, and employers are making choices.
Jasmine Tucker is the director of research at the National Women's Law Center. She says women are being shortchanged in the workplace, and those nickels and dimes are adding up.
This has real impacts, not just now, but in long term.
According to Bank of America, women may earn $1 million less than men by retirement age if you combine the pay gap with workforce interruptions like parenting and caregiving. And the gap is becoming even wider during the pandemic.
Men gained 16,000 jobs and women lost 156,000 jobs, which gave us that net 140,000 jobs lost.
12% of women told researchers at Indeed that they are not comfortable asking for a raise. Jennifer Scheidler, a financial advisor with Bank of America, shares why these conversations may be difficult.
We are caretakers, we don't want to upset everybody. We don't want to, we want to just keep peace in the workplace. And I think that we're just telling ourselves that narrative.
But Scheidler says there's a silver lining here in Nevada.
A lot of us Nevadans are entrepreneurs. And that's what I love about that Nevada pull yourself up by your bootstraps, entrepreneurial spirit, and then the sky's the limit. There is nobody saying this is what you can or cannot get paid.
From women who know their worth, creating businesses and now leading companies.
Having that representation on the board, these women are proven and can be strong enough and powerful enough in those meetings to speak on behalf of all of us.
Even in the traditionally male-dominated industry of gambling, Scheidler says the future is female.
If you look, a lot of the executives running the hotels on the Strip now are female.
The World Economic Forum says it will take more than 250 years to close the gender wage gap. Dorianne St. Fleur has been coaching women on their careers, and she says we are making progress.
You can overcome that gap. There are women out there every day who are negotiating, who are asking for more, who are getting higher titles, who are getting higher pay.
But the National Women's Law Center says that only happens when we use our voice.
We have to hold employers accountable. We have to hold their feet to the fire.
TRICIA KEAN reporting, Nevada is a little ahead of the rest. We have the 5th smallest gender wage gap in the U.S. according to business.org.
Now, the gap in pay is even wider for women of color. The National Women's Law Center says it takes a black woman 8 months to earn the same amount as a white man. Now, that means over a 40-year career, she could lose an average of $900,000.
Unfortunately, that is a statistic that is true, that minority women are paid less than women, and of course, and less than male counterparts. And that's everywhere, unfortunately. But again, that's where companies who are stepping up to the plate and saying, we want to represent the communities that we serve.
And that's the same opportunities she's going to talk about now. The doors of opportunity opening up now for black women, with more companies looking to make diverse hires.
Folks are seeking black women out. They are saying, I would like to understand how I can hire more black women. I would like to understand what I can do to be an ally, to change my hiring process, to change my performance review process, etc. So I think this is a unique time that we're in right now, where we can use that to our advantage.
All aboard! Come out and celebrate the change of seasons at the Springs Preserve. They have now opened all outdoor areas Friday through Monday.
Spring is here, so hit the trails and explore this historical site that is home to the Las Vegas Springs. Take in the cactus and the native flowers in bloom. You may find a moment to unplug all by yourself inside the botanical garden. And of course, the kids will have a blast at the newly remodeled playground, and don't forget to visit the animal habitat. And next week, look for another local tradition to return to the Valley. The First Friday Festival makes a comeback on April 2nd, outside downtown on First Street. Capacity will be limited to 250 guests at a time, but there is no limit to the creativity. Take in local emerging and established artists, crafts, live entertainment, food, drink, and more.
For the full list, head to our website, ktnv.com. Have a great week.
Thanks for watching Positively Las Vegas on your favorite streaming device. If you miss any part of this week's program, just hit the back button on your remote and scroll down until you see Positively Las Vegas, and you'll find every story we aired in this episode. Stay tuned for more from 13 Action News after the break, and check us out anytime here on KTNV Streaming, Las Vegas News on your time.